vice chair here today. They're both out. I'd like to make a motion to nominate Margie as our temporary chair for today.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Margie?
All right, so we will call the meeting to order. This is the this is the Palm Springs Desert Museum's Art Commission.
No, it isn't.
City of, all right, never mind. I just gave it away. All right. All right, this is just a call to order. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Wick,
Here.
Vice Chair Wing will be out today. Commissioner Hostrop, Commissioner Heller,
Here.
Commissioner Arterberry,
Here.
Chair Pro Tem Holly,
Here.
and our regular chairman is still out.
Report of posting the agenda, please.
The agenda was posted at City Hall on December 5th.
Approval of minutes. Oh,
You'll
Didn't
have
we have two
approval
sets?
for October 10th, regular meeting.
there are two of them.
We have October and November.
Yes.
I'll make a motion that we approve them.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Public comments?
No, we have minutes for November 21st.
Oh, I thought you had approved both of those.
No.
Okay,
I so move. We approve the minutes.
okay. Of November. Okay.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Public comments? None? Okay. All right, legislative action, and we do have,
We have an added starter today, something that we were unaware of that needs to be approved, and it is a mural for Maya's Restaurant, and the owner is here to give a presentation. Please
William?
introduce yourself.
Thank you. My name is William De La Campa. I'm the owner of Maya's Bar and Grill in Palm Springs on the corner of Palmera and East Palm Canyon. The restaurant there is the first Mexican restaurant in the desert, formerly known as Casa Camargo. I acquired the property about a year ago. And since then, I've been doing extensive remodeling from plumbing, electrical, et cetera, to the point where we even brought the murals into play. Since then, since we've had the murals put up, we had them done by an artist that's an unknown, a street person, if you will. Basically, I bought the paint and the brushes, and the paint is that which they use on tanks of motorcycles and cars and so forth. So it's quality paint that's been done. It's going to be there for a long time. And the artist himself is a gentleman out of Indio who spent quite a bit of time in the state penitentiary, and it's a hardship case for him, looking for a little work. I didn't realize his talents. He brought him out. On the inside of the restaurant, we have several murals also of the Aztecs, Mayans, and so forth. It looks very nicely done. So on the outside, what we've done is, as you read here in my brief letter, mural 1 on the south side of the restaurant is approximately 5 by 6 feet and depicts two tigers in their natural jungle setting, similar to the Mayan rainforest jungle. The mural is painted to match the natural growth of the palm trees, which frame it in on both sides. The atmosphere of the restaurant is to return to the Mayan culture. The second mural, which is on the north side, is approximately 4 feet by 6 feet, and it depicts the glory of two buffaloes challenging each other. This mural was chosen to remind us of our Indian heritage and a tribute to our Indian population. It should also be noted that the buffalo burgers are a featured item on the menu.
any further comments?
I just want to add that since we've done the work to the restaurant, people literally are coming up and having themselves photographed, especially tourists, alongside the murals in front of the restaurant. A lot of comments have been good comments in regards to the work that was done and so forth.
This is not part of any public art fund reimbursement. It's just that it's a work of art that's on display to the public and just has to be approved by
Yes,
this.
ma'am. No reimbursement of any kind.
Okay.
In fact, what I paid to have the murals done is so inexpensive, people wouldn't believe it.
It would be nice if we could have the artist's name for the record.
Yes, his name is Johnny Gutierrez,
Would you spell his last name, please?
Guiterrez.
And if I'm following along, the normal course of action would be to bring this before Public Arts to be approved prior to a mural being painted and evidently, just so people out there that are watching TV, the normal way that would go is
Yeah.
it would be prior to.
Approved before it's painted, and
Right.
the
Right.
applicant wasn't aware that he needed approval for this, so.
Yes, Mrs. Morgan, that's correct.
So what we're looking
no, my
at is-
apologies to the
Yes.
committee.
No, that's fine, just so that people that are watching
Yeah.
say,
Understand.
paint it and then, want to bring it in later. So if I'm understanding correctly, this is the little building that's sitting there right on East Palm Canyon, sits all by itself.
That's
And the
correct.
mural that you see from Palm Canyon as you're driving by would probably be the buffaloes,
That's if you're heading south.
South.
if I'm heading south.
And we're directly across the street from Steinmart and Miro's Restaurant.
This is the restaurant that's always had some decoration on it, as I remember?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
There's Aztec calendars that were there, but the paint is faded. Once again, it's the first Mexican restaurant owned formerly by Benjamin and Gloria Camargo. And they're very well known to the desert. The Rat Pack used to be, all the time, used to visit the place. Numerous celebrities from the desert would frequent the place. Steve McQueen, George C. Scott, a lot of the celebrities would, it was just a private little hangout. A little watering hole, if you will.
What would be the protocol on this? We should go and look at it and then give a final approval,
You're welcome to
as
look
I
at it. ma'am.
understand it.
If you feel that's necessary, you could just look at the pictures and
The
give
pictures are
approval
pretty
today.
clear,
Yeah.
and the orange colors, of course, are Frank Sinatra's favorites, so that's why those were picked. And he was one of the very frequent people that were there.
My personal feeling is that this building has always been unique, all the years I've lived here. And it's certainly something that you see as you pass by. And these are very fitting for the purpose of his building, and I personally have no feelings against this.
I feel the same way. I've been watching the renovation. I think he's doing a great job. If it's okay, I'd make a motion to approve.
Thank you, sir.
Do I hear a second?
I second it.
Perhaps we should have some discussion before we give the final approval. Harry, what do you want?
I've driven by it and seen it a number of times, and I've been very impressed with it. I think it looks real nice.
Leona?
No, I like it. This one part, I thought it was part of the mural, but it's real growth here in front. So the
Yeah.
artist has done a good job.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, no, I like it.
And our menu is going to be very quaint, very small. It's not going to be one of these fancy sit-down restaurants. We're going to have the buffalo burger. We're going to have a nice New York steak. The chef that we have is bringing actually the chile relleno without the cheese, the authentic from Puebla, Mexico, which denotes the colors of the Mexican flag. The tamales are going to be in the banana leaf, the big beautiful tamales with homemade masa, and a few other American dishes. So it's not just a Mexican restaurant. It's going to be a little eclectic, if you will.
When will you open?
Lord willing, we should open within the next 10 days with final approval. We have a few corrections that were given to us by Mr. Gary Ford and also by David Matthews, which should be completed by this weekend, and we'll have another inspection next week.
Then are we all in favor of this?
One other question, is there any other murals that are going up?
At this time, no, sir. I'd like to get the artist to do something, but when you're dealing with a street person, he'll show up one day and gone for a couple of weeks, and comes back again when he feels like it. So
If you
kind of
have
hard to
any-
deal with his time frame.
Yeah, if you have any ideas on that, give us a heads up.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
from
would
this
like-
point forward, we will.
All right. Are you all in favor then?
Yes.
All right, then, we approve, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, committee.
Good luck.
Yes, lots of,
Thanks again.
we would like to know, though, when it will actually be open.
Okay.
Okay.
Approximately 10 days from today. Like I said, Gary Ford's going to go out next week, and David Matthews, they'll do their final next week as well. So once that's done, I need another 5 days to bring in product, and then we're open for business.
Okay, then it sounds like before Christmas.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely, that's the goal. Yes.
Congratulations.
You're all invited, of course.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Okay, my excuse? Okay, thanks again.
Okay, shall we go on? Then the street sculpture bench project.
I spoke with Jane Beeman this morning, and she has 2 more benches to be approved, but wanted to wait until she had a larger quantity than that. And I told her that our next meeting is generally just all day approving the artwork for the art show. And it would have been nice to have a separate special meeting because we're kind of busy that day. But I thought since we're all going to be together and here all day, we could squeeze her in on that day. And then she should have probably 6 more benches at least, hopefully, to be approved that day. So we'll just do that. We'll take a half an hour out, maybe at the beginning before we're tired, and do that.
Have any been purchased, any of the benches? None?
The agreement's has not been signed yet, so
Okay,
she can't get started on it until that's done.
okay.
But we can
That's
still
why-
approve the
that's why I
benches.
We can
said-
still.
so we're just in the approval
We can
of
still
the
approve
art.
the designs, but
Sure.
they can't get started yet.
All right. Okay, shall we move on? Sunrise Plaza?
Sunrise Plaza, subcommittee report. The consensus of the subcommittee is that we approve the project, the theory of the project, the location of the project. The problem that we're having is the artwork that's been selected, the type, and the giclées for longevity, we're having a real problem with. So the actual feelings are, to bring back to the whole commission, is that we've discussed it, and the problems lie as, one, the giclées, or any reproduction of artwork put into these shadow boxes because of the lack of humidity and the heat. We're afraid of the longevity. We did talk about the fact of the 3M process. What makes us stumble a little bit on that is that the original artworks are not going to be part of the Public Arts Commission. So their feelings are, and like other commercial property, once we approve this, and if the center were to sell, and we have a new owner of the center, and the artwork deteriorates, we're in a little bit of a
Then
pickle.
who's got the
Yes.
originals?
Right, we're in a little pickle, and also the fact that we do not have the storage to store the original artworks, even if the original artworks were given to us, because we're limited for this type of work. We did come up with some thoughts in regards to longevity on the images, possibly putting them into an etched stone, because the images are architectural, which would lend themselves really nice to an etched stone type of look, which would eliminate the need for shadow boxes, glass boxes, that type of thing.
That would probably eliminate the artist too, though.
Oh, yes.
If he's an oil painter, he couldn't do that.
Yeah. But I think that what we need to bring back is the fact of the matter is are we getting ourselves into a situation where it's gonna be, we gotta go check on the artwork and what's going on with it and how's it holding up and.
Now, the mural at Desert Highland is held up, and that's a painting outdoors, so maybe it needs to be done more on, with something like that, done with acrylic paints to do the original outside somehow.
And then if you end up in a situation like that, does the Public Arts Commission what's gonna be the scenario for maintaining? Let's look at it from the standpoint that if the center were to sell and the colors start to fade, it needs to be repainted, is the new,
The new owner would have to
New
take
owner-
over the agreement that we would have with them for maintenance.
and would that be, can you make that binding to a new owner to maintain for
It's-
public
yeah,
arts?
yeah.
Well, that's an idea or something.
And
to
another thing
consider.
that wasn't brought up, 'cause we never saw the permit valuation of what they are paying and asking to be, they said the cost of the artwork was $40,000, but I don't know how much their permits are.
Mhm.
So that's another thing too.
And, are the fees based on the permit or a percentage of the actual job itself?
The
'Cause that's
permit,
what
the
we-
permit valuation.
And it's 1/2 of 1% of what you pay for permit, or 1/2 of 1%
Right,
of
the
what
permit.
project?
Permit.
Not the whole project, because you don't pay for driveways and sidewalks on the permit, so it's not the whole project cost.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the building.
Okay. Well, that's basically where the subcommittee's at, that we're really having
So
a
we really
problem.
want them to come back with some more, a permanent type of solution. The idea is great.
The idea is great,
Mm-hmm.
and we also discussed it, and like Harry was saying, the idea that the people involved, they're taking it upon themselves to come up with some idea for public arts, which we think is a really great way to go.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that we want to make sure that we're not getting ourselves into a situation where it's, 3 years down the road and everything's faded and new owners and where's the originals and,
Right, okay.
gee, you promised us to have another piece and
Yeah.
we're talking to the wind,
Okay.
So we will leave it in your hands then, Diane, to come up with,
To get back to them and tell them
Yes.
what our thoughts are and how can they resolve it.
right.
Okay.
Anything more? Harry, did you want to make any comment on this?
No, I was, well, I guess I could, I was thinking about the mural at Glimpy's and the 3M process. If they did something like that, if new owners came along, they could probably have,
Yeah, it's not.
sorry, they could probably have negatives so that they could have the 3M process done again should they fade or wear out or be damaged for any reason. So if you had new owners of the project, they wouldn't need the original artwork to pass on. They could just have the negatives or some kind of something that they can then reproduce from.
That
that's
3M
true by
process-
having the digital shot of it prior, have the separate, and we could store that.
Yeah.
But, and we did like the idea of having color in there. That was one of the things that came up in the subcommittee,
Which you wouldn't get with
which we wouldn't get with the etched stone.
etching.
Who else was on the subcommittee? Was it you, Leona?
We get really concerned. Many people who do not live here are not familiar with the tremendous heat and humidity in August that we have. And I can't imagine these reproductions out there holding up for more than a year or two, and then they begin to look tacky, and that's not what we want.
Well, they agreed to take care of it if they didn't hold up, but, you know, they might be getting into more than they anticipated if they're fixing this thing like every 6 months, you know, or
If you don't
3
live
months.
here and you're
Yeah.
not used to this, I mean, if you live over on the coast, you don't have an idea of what it's like.
Yeah.
And and then it concerns me as to who's going to own the originals, where they're going to go. You know, I could see somebody selling them again. I don't know. And then is this going to be a unique piece or pieces?
There are a lot of questions to be resolved yet. Shall we go on? Sculpture loan for the convention center. Diane?
We still haven't received anything from the gallery, and at some point, obviously, they're not as interested as I thought they were, and so maybe that'll just go away. But I'll call them again and see if they really do want to. If they don't want to do something, then they have to remove the pad. There's a cement pad there at the convention center from the old piece.
Yes. Yeah.
So if they're not interested in doing something in the next couple of months, then we'll just have them remove the pad, so.
But if they're not interested, perhaps somebody else is, another gallery, if the pad is there.
Yeah, well, I'll have to ask the convention center if they're interested in anybody bringing a piece
They would be interested in
in.
somebody being there.
At some point, once the expansion of the convention center goes, that pad's gonna be removed, so we'll just, whatever it is, we'll
Oh,
have
it
to.
would in time.
Yeah.
They'll come that direction.
Well, yeah, there'll be probably re-landscaping or whatever.
Mhm. Okay, shall we move on then? Shivuli, the airport fundraising discussion on this. Did you mail some of the?
We're gonna be, well, Paul and I decided that it's really not a good idea to be asking for money right before the holidays, so we thought the best time to mail them would be like January, the week after New Year's, so we'll mail them then, we'll have everything ready to go.
Okay, all right.
We did yesterday,
7th, right?
yeah, we'll mail them on Tuesday, January 7th. We did today and yesterday hand write special thank you holiday cards to all of our donors,
Good.
and we're sending those out today too. And everyone who's worked and helped us, we've sent special thank you.
That's great. No, that's fine.
I need to correct something I said at the last meeting. I saw Fritz, and I told him, oh, the Chihulis are beautiful since you tilted them.
Uh-oh.
And he said, well, thank you very much. I really appreciate that, but I didn't do anything to them other than change the lighting. And he said, oh, well, I just
Well, we weren't
waved."
gonna tell you.
Yeah, I laughed, and I said, well, I really thought you had tilted them. He says, no, they can only be the way they are.
Yeah, they have a flat- they have a
I want
flat-
everyone out there to know I really am an idiot.
No, you're not. Okay, how's our art show coming? TSPS.
Well, we've gotten a couple of
Comments?
comments. One woman wanted to do an Indian dance and would hope that someday we would allow dancing instead of hanging artwork on the walls, but
Oh, I thought she was going to provide the entertainment.
No, we don't have the space for it.
no.
No,
And she wouldn't want to stay here for 6 weeks.
no.
But other than that, I mean, we've just gotten some good comments, and everybody's, well, haven't sent any money in yet, have they?
No, but
It's a little early.
normally they don't. I think normally we only get like 2 checks maybe in advance.
So everything's ready to
Got a couple
go.
of comments about sculpture category.
Mhm.
which we usually do, but that's all we would have is two
Yeah.
anyhow, so
Yeah.
2 or 3, so.
Well, do you want to make some comments, Leona, on it, about the hanging of the art, or?
What was the lighting?
Tracy's looking into the lighting.
Yes.
I didn't know if you wanted me to make that report under the staff reports, or if you
No,
wanted
that
to
comes
put it in
under
there.
this,
Where you want
under the
Yes.
art
I didn't know
show.
it, now?
Yeah.
Now.
Okay. I finally got an approval. I talked to the Jan Anderson. I think,
Uh-huh.
Okay. He came over and he measured the height because we have a height requirement on how far a fixture can be down. I think it's like 6'8" or something. He was giving me the number. We can't encroach on that because of a safety type of thing in case 7-foot person walks down the hallway. Yeah. Right. Anyway, we got a clearance on the height. I have a clearance on the electrical, that we do have enough power. We discussed the fact on using cans that you put in and then they would draw the electricity. We could hardwire them into the recessed lights and leave them attached. So whenever you need a light, you just put it up there and it comes on. When we don't need the lighting, you take the can away. There's no use of power, so there won't be an electrician involved.
Is
We were
this in
talk-
a track?
In a track.
Okay.
The only thing that I'm set with right now is I need to go talk to the mayor, and hopefully I'll see him this afternoon, because he likes to be involved with the aesthetics. So
Okay.
that's what my whole thing was, is to check with the mayor, see if he has things, and I also want to check with one other person that possibly might have another idea on the permanent hardwire thing.
Okay.
And then after that, we should be able to know what we're going to do.
Pricing is really important because we really hadn't budgeted this for this year, and we have a lot of unexpected costs that have come up, so we're really kind of short on funds, so. And I don't think we're going to get any money. We really should be using the money from the fees to buy anything that's related to the art show, so
Yeah.
it's really important that we know what we're
Okay.
talking here.
Well, I'll be, if I get an okay that it's a go, I can get the price on the materials. As for the individual putting up, doing the wiring and installation, that would be more on the,
Well, we have a city electrician who, if he could do that, we could pay his time to do that
Yeah.
if he's available to do it.
because it's not a real difficult.
Then we wouldn't have to do a
Installation.
contract to hire somebody to
Right,
do it.
and we have this clearance, because when I was talking to Jan, he was saying, well, we need to cut a channel and maybe move the track up, and I'm looking at it going, oh, wait a minute, no, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
But now when he measured, and I've got, the can that I'm looking at actually adjusts and slides up real close to the wall, and we're using a smaller bulb.
Okay.
So I think it might work, so I just need to talk to the mayor to see.
Are you gonna go down like the sides?
I was gonna go
No,
down
in
the
the middle.
center.
The
I
middle.
mean, on the ceiling or along the side, like by the wall or in the middle?
I was
In the
gonna,
middle.
my thought was going straight down the middle
Middle.
in between each one of the can. That way we can turn lights going in both directions.
And this would be permanent.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Well, when you're not hanging artwork there, unless they want it on those photos, they might want a can here and
But
there.
the track will be permanent.
The track
Yes.
would be, which, is half the thickness
Just look like
drop
that.
down of that. And it'd be in sections in between those recessed cans.
It's practically invisible. This is.
Well, I mean, we could even paint it out to match the
Yeah,
ceiling.
we
I
probably
mean,
should.
Which wouldn't, we could do that at a later date. We could get it installed and get it up and running, and then later when we pull everything down, go ahead and have it repainted to match the ceiling. But I think the thickness of it is maybe 5/8 of an inch thick from the ceiling.
Okay.
They're really narrow,
Yeah.
so I'll let you know later.
Thanks, Tracy.
We could always eat less food and pay for the light.
I think that might be an idea. Okay.
Bring your own food.
Right. Okay, staff on the I-10 corridor.
There's nothing new on that. That's still in Caltrans.
Hands.
Yes, so
Okay.
as soon as I have something to report, I will come back to you on that.
Okay, on ICAP.
The ICAP project was presented to Parks and Rec yesterday, and they love the idea. They're happy with having something at Ruth Hardy Park. Two comments were that the corner is, a traffic intersection, and they wanted to make sure that whatever we put there doesn't block any view, because a lot of children cross there. And one of the commissioners also said that they really like their open space, the grassy areas, and that would hope that nothing would be in any of the grassy areas, that it would just be where we proposed and maybe at another corner.
Yeah.
So they have given their blessing to go further with it, and I said as soon as we start getting any more specifics with the request for proposals, I'd come back to them too with more
Good.
information.
I was sure they would approve it. Okay, now the city entry, anything on that?
Chairman Cohen had asked that that be put back on, just because we want to just start working on that again. And what we need to do is get back with the artist who designed it and try to start working out some bids. One thing that I wasn't aware of is that the property that the city sign is on is not owned by the city. It's owned by the Nichols family.
Oh, no.
So there are some negotiations going on with that. So until that's resolved, well, we wouldn't be ready to start building anything in the near future anyhow. But we have to come up with some funding for that because,
I'm sure that Steve would be receptive to that. Yeah.
Would it make any difference now that the city is purchasing the tramway gas station? Would it make any difference about the location of the signage on
well, there may
111?
be, is the city purchasing it?
Yes.
Burnett.
The
I thought
city
it was
is
Burnett.
Yes.
purchasing it, and-
Well, there may be some design of that area incorporated with what's going to be done with that. So that's,
And since the city doesn't own that property, it
Yeah.
could be that
so
there
there's
could
some
be
things.
a different location for
Right,
the
we may have to come up with a different location. So that is not urgent to worry about in connection with this, because we still got to come up with the funding and get some pricing, and that's going to take some time.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we do want to get going back on that. So we need to, I'm going to be getting with the designers and come up with some bids on this.
Good. Any comments on the 5-year plan? Anyone? Nope. Then may I, staff, do you have any comments?
No. No comments.
No comments? All right. Beth, do you want to say anything before we close?
Well, it's been very nice being here today, and thank you for asking me to come. Goodbye. And
Tracy?
And everybody have a happy holiday.
Oh, yes. Leona?
I guess a happy holiday to everyone, and thanks to Diane and Paula for their hard work this year, since this is kind of our last meeting for the
This
year.
is.
So thank you for your hard work this year and helping to raise all the money that we have raised.
We're almost there.
Julie.
Yes.
We
Well,
do need to
Nothing
work
more
on
has
something
come-
for
Nothing
February.
more has come in voluntarily.
No.
Well, we should be able to make, so
You
thank,
have to strangle it out of them.
thank you for all that you've done.
Harry?
I'd just like to mention, I hope Leo's doing better. Hope to see him soon.
Lee, he would have been here today,
Yeah.
but he had an unexpected doctor's appointment. Otherwise, he's doing quite well.
Yeah, I got
He's
an
feeling a
email
lot
from
better,
him.
and
So, and I'm sure if he was here, we'd probably still be up here on the sculpture bench project. You know?
No,
No.
I have things to do, and I know you do too. This is getting close to the holidays. Paula, did you want to say anything?
No. Happy holidays, everybody.
yeah. Yeah, it's been great working with all of you. So
Yeah.
look forward to a great year next year and
And
lots
I-
of great new things.
Yeah, and I want to wish everybody happy holidays too, and many more. So, do I have a motion for adjournment?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Happy holidays, everybody.